Happy New Year, everyone! What? The year only ends with Oscar season, if you ask me. It means it's time to go through every category and rate each decision made by the Academy. By each and every, I mean, of course, except for these ones. Because I don't wanna. I'll say if I agree or which film I would have preferred. Here we go. Best foreign language film, All Quiet on the Western Front. No, I'm not calling this category Best International Feature. The original name makes more sense. Great winner. It was ambitious, spectacular, harrowing, perfectly realized, and I'll talk more about it later on. Best original song, Naatu Naatu from RRR. Okay, here's the thing. I'm not crazy about this song, and to be perfectly honest, I don't think most people are. I'd wager most voters think they're honoring the dance number. If you take the song by itself, it's just... okay. The one from Top Gun Maverick was my favorite of the 5. Best original score, All Quiet on the What? Not Babylon? Is this a joke? I liked All Quiet, okay, but really, best score. The music does fit the movie well. It's emotional, brutal, soft, metallic, but would you listen to it for fun? Now, this is how I see it. I want a score that not only elevates the film, but is also a good work of art by itself. Therefore, there's no other score, not only this year, but in over a decade that comes close to Babylon. I haven't been able to stop listening to this soundtrack for over 2 months. It's perfect. So many different catchy tunes. Manny and Nelly's theme is such an unforgettable melody, it works every which way you arrange it. One of the best scores I've ever heard, and unless my neighbors call the police, they will not stop listening to it.
And music!
Best visual effects, Avatar: The Way of Water. This is the most objective of categories. Who's the winner? The film with the most advanced technology. Of course it's Avatar, and it will probably be every other Avatar that will come into existence until the end of forever. Best makeup and hairstyle, The Whale. Truly impressive work. But I'd like to see something other than prosthetics win for once. That's why I would have preferred All Quiet on the Western Front. You can see so many different stages of dirt on Paul's face, it adds enormous depth to his journey, physically speaking. There's every kind of mud. Dark, light, wet, dry. Brendan Fraser's transformation is indeed amazing, but what you see in All Quiet is something you have never seen before. And here's a little something of interest. It's the first time in this category when we had 2 penguins competing against each other. Best sound, Top Gun Maverick. That's a terrific choice and I'm glad Maverick won something. But overall, All Quiet on the Western Front was the better choice. It greatly used sound to create a sense of location and atmosphere. This is why we need 2 sound categories. Top Gun Maverick has the best sound effects editing. Its sonic creations are more outstanding. But All Quiet has the superior sound mixing. Sound adds more depth to the story. Best costume design, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Oh, I'm gonna have to watch this film. I'll be back in, 130 minutes? Okay.
Why do you mock me, O Lord?
2,000 years later.
Really, you guys nominated Angela Bassett for that? She's awful.
What can I offer in exchange?
She's terrible. She is horrible.
It has always been our policy to never trade vibranium under any circumstance.
Oh, right, the costumes. Good costumes, I guess. Creative. But like most Marvel costumes, I still think they look just like that. Costumes. not clothes. I much prefer the costumes of Elvis. You can see the protagonist's progression through his costumes despite how bad the screenplay is. Yes, interestingly enough, costume designer Catherine Martin recounted the story of Elvis much better than the writer-director did. Best production design, All Quiet on the Western Front. The high-class sets make for a perfect contrast to the muddy trenches, but that can't make you forget the fact that most of the film is in those muddy trenches, and they look like every other muddy trench you've ever seen in a movie. The technical accomplishment of building such long stretches of trenches is commendable, but I still prefer sets that look more unique. Therefore, Babylon. Those sets were expensive and highly varied. My favorite set being the kinescope lot with dozens of silent films shooting at once. A set of sets. This film isn't bad at all, by the way. It failed at too many things, but at least it tried a whole lot of things. If it had suddenly ended after that hilarious scene of Nelly shooting her first sound film, I'd have called it a masterpiece.
Shut the fuck up! Not how we make movies! Shut the fuck up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up!
Best Cinematography, All Quiet on the Western Front. This is a visually elaborate work of genius, and it fits so naturally with the story you might even miss how refined the visuals are. The camera moves sometimes fluidly, sometimes handheld, and even then it doesn't have a single confusing frame. James Fran's camera captures the texture of smoke, fire, candlelight, water and dirt. It can be bright, it can be dark, without ever becoming too dark. Compare this firelit scene from Wakanda Forever with this firelit scene from All Quiet. This is what a dark scene should look like. It should look. Best film editing, everything, everywhere, all at once. It's hard rating a category whose most discreet entrants are always sidelined. It's that cliché, when the editing is good you don't notice it. So the awarded films are always the ones that are good and noticeable. Everything Everywhere depends highly on the jumping back and forth between dimensions, and the editor's clear hard work pays off. Best Adapted Screenplay, Women Talking. I made a whole video on why I don't find this screenplay deserving, and I thoroughly recommend watching. As All Quiet repeatedly won during the Oscar ceremony, I was filled with hope that it might triumph here. Not meant to be. Though the characters could have used more characterization, it's an intelligent, dramatic and sprawling screenplay that truly deserved the award. Best Original Screenplay, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. I prefer the indirect approach of Tar, creating a larger-than-life character than placing her in a world of secrets and insinuations. But Everything, Everywhere is still a deserving screenplay. Creative, high-concept stories need to be recognized and awarded. By the way, I also made a video about this category. Best Supporting Actor, Quan for Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. That speech was too emotional and memorable for me to say anything against his win. But still, he's a co-lead. I can't agree with awarding co-leads in the supporting categories. Barry Keoghan is the choice I'd make. He's a comic relief character in a comedy, and he gives a surprising amount of emotional depth, and that's a real supporting role. Best Supporting Actress, Jamie Lee Curtis for Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Talking about a surprising amount of emotional depth, I thought she was indeed terrific and award-worthy. Unrecognizable, serious, and funny. It could have been just a simple, forgettable, tiny character, but Curtis brought her A-game. I'm glad she won, but I still prefer Kerry Condon in Banshees. That's a more thorough performance in my book. Her body language feels unique, restrained, and self-conscious. Her voice goes up and down and breaks.
Wild? Was I never wild? I don't know what you're talking about, Dominic. Wild how? Angry? 'Cause I'm getting angry now, I can tell you.
Best Actor, Brendan Fraser for The Whale. Okay, this one has got to be the best actor lineup I've ever seen in my lifetime. Fraser was stupendous, both soft-spoken and poignant. But Austin Butler did the same with even more emotional range, and he goddamn sang perfectly while emulating one of the most famous figures of the last century. And that's coming from someone who absolutely did not like Elvis. Butler's next role should be Captain Ahab. Best Actress, Michelle Yeoh for Everything Everywhere All at Once. I loved Everything Everywhere, but 3 acting Oscars? Do you know what other films won 3/4 of the available prizes? Network and A Streetcar Named Desire. Those were acting movies. Those were dialogue-heavy pieces mandating range. Everything Everywhere is sci-fi adventure, it's a plot movie. Of course you can have both at once, but no offense, we didn't have it this time. Now the Daniels are on the same league as Patty Chayefsky and Tennessee Williams.
One of these things is not like the others.
Michelle Yeoh won for her impressive career, because this performance has nothing extraordinary. She's not particularly touching, emotional or funny in any scene. I hate to criticize such a treasure of a performer, but she does what the screenplay requests and nothing more. Now, Cate Blanchett as Lydia Tarr, that's a monumental monster of a performance. She is this full-on breathing universe of a human. I see better acting in how she tosses her hair, sweeps crumbs, and sips some water than in Michelle Yeoh's most emotional moments. There, I said it. Best Director, Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert for Everything Everywhere All at Once. In my video covering this category, I talk about how I prefer the directions of Tar and The Fabelmans. But the Daniels are an excellent choice I won't complain about. So here's some trivia. Everything Everywhere All at Once is the first film in 78 years to win 6 Oscars in the major categories. The only other film to do so was Going My Way in 1945, and that even won in a category that doesn't exist anymore, Best Original Story. Best Picture, Everything Everywhere All at Once. My favorite film of the year was actually Tar. In second place it was... well... I guess it was Pearl. But Yeoh is up there as well. After suffering the Oscar go to Spotlight, Green Books and Codas, it's great to see something strange and imaginative win Best Picture. Just don't get too used to it. Now, what did you think of the Oscar winners? Make sure to leave a comment, as long as it's not in favor of the All Quiet score.